paid for during our time. So, say in the last 3 years, nothing new's been opened in terms of overall bed increase across the province. They've closed beds in some area and moved them to others, but that's about it. So it's the policy that's wrong, and we're going to have to, and as part of our campaign platform coming up, we're certainly aware that we're going to have to commit to building some actual beds. There are, as people may recall, about 8 months ago in the legislature, I brought in a resolution which the government voted against. We did have a full debate on it, and asking for specifically Grey and Simcoe County more beds. The government kind of mocked me at the time and said I didn't believe in the aging at home strategy, is what they call it, their strategy. We, at that time, so that's about 8 months ago, we had 480 people in my catchment area either in hospital or at home waiting for a long-term care bed. That's the highest it's been in my 20 years. So I agree 100% with you. And, healthcare shouldn't be a political issue. The government should recognize there's a real need and make it a priority.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll keep at it.
Well, Jim, I know we're going to take a number of callers here tonight. *3 for anyone who'd like to add their voice tonight, ask a question, talk about what's important to their area. Hit *3 on your handset right now to talk to Jim Wilson, your MPP. But before we take any more questions, I thought we'd do another poll question. Jim, you've indicated that a lot of people are talking to you about smart meters and time of use billing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm wondering out there for the callers on the phone, do you expect smart meters and time of use billing will allow you to significantly reduce your monthly hydro bill? So do you think smart meters and time of use billing are going to allow you to significantly bring down or reduce your monthly hydro bill? If you think yes, smart meters and time of use will allow you to lower your hydro bill, please press 1. If you believe no, smart meters and time of use will not reduce your bill, in fact they may increase it, please press 2. You can key in your answer now on your keypad for this active poll. So again, the question, do you think smart meters and time of use billing will allow you to reduce your monthly bill? If you think it'll reduce your bill, press 1. If you think it won't, please press 2. So we'll wait for your answers to come in, and we'll take another call. I think we've actually got a snowmobiler from Barrie who's curious about some issues in the constituency. We're going to bring him on the line. Ray, we'll just bring Ray on the line. Ray, are you there?
Yes. Yeah.
Ray, what's your question for Jim Wilson?
Jim, it's Ray Shaver from Menacing area, the local Snowblade or Snowmobile Club. We're involved our last main top trail. We're trying to get a tunnel under County Road 90 between Angus and Barrie. Is our last hope of keeping open a transportation system for snowmobiles and the economic value it brings up from the south. We if it was under Ontario MTO, they would replace or put in a culvert for us free of charge. The county, we're dealing with the county now, and we have to raise our own funds or partner with whoever we can get. We're looking at a 12 by 12 tunnel under the county road. It's going to be rebuilt in sections in the next 5 years. We've been at it for about 7 now, and we're looking at $200,000 to $300,000 with all the grants. So I just wonder, is there any thing with the provincial government there that we might be able to lever? I mean, snowmobile clubs do lever money from, don't get me wrong, but for this specific project, because it is a very important north-south link, and it was possibly could take the Trans-Canada Trail down under it also. You know, it's hard to get through any right-of-ways anymore. We're getting off the road. So do you see any...
I hear you, Ray, and by coincidence, because I'm an avid snowmobiler, I was at the Snowmobile and ATV show on the weekend in Toronto, or not the weekend, on Friday afternoon when it first opened, and boy, it's a popular sport. I think one of the largest clubs in my riding is the Wasaga Beach Snowmobile Club, which at times has had up to 600 members in it. So it's very popular. I'll talk to Kyle Patterson, the current warden, and as you know, Highway 90 is slated to be redeveloped pretty soon. The planning is going on, and the public meetings have started. So I'll do my best.
We're talking with the county periodically, but we have to come up with some matching money somehow. And we do have some available, but when grants come out, this is something you got to build it within 4 months, or you don't get a type of thing. We need a longer tenure to get commitment.
Well, the thing too for you is got all your information, Ray, and I know who you are, so I'll talk I'll talk to the government on your behalf, and I'll also talk to the county, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Jim, we asked that poll question. Did people think their smart meters and time of use billing would allow them to reduce their bills? 11% of the callers tonight thought that it would allow them to reduce their bills. 89% felt the opposite. Does that jive with you here?
Yeah, certainly the largest municipality, of course, in the province that has smart meters now that are in effect for most of the municipality is the City of Toronto, and they found, geez, almost the same. They found that 81% of people weren't actually saving any money, even though many of them were trying to do their laundry at night and making sure their kids eat their toast before 7 in the morning so that the hydro isn't used. And that's not just a joke. I have a friend in Barrie who tells me he doesn't let his kids cook breakfast after 7 a.m. because he doesn't want the extra hydro bill. So it's got to be ridiculous. And Tim Hudak, as you know, last week, in a major speech to the Ontario Energy Association, because we don't want to just complain about these things, we want to offer some solutions along the way, indicated that we're going to make it optional. It should be formed the government next year on whether people, if they think they could save money using time of use, that they can rearrange their lives and their schedules, fine. Then you can use the smart meter technology for that, or the smart meter can also act as a normal meter, flat rate meter. So we're going to give people the option in the future.
Jim, I know actually your critic portfolio now deals with post-secondary education. Is that right? Yeah,
colleges and universities.
Oh, excellent. Well, we have Heather on the line from Collingwood. Heather has a daughter who's just gone through the education system. I'm sure Heather contributed to that in some way. And she's got a question about post-secondary education. Heather, are you on the line? We're just working
yes, I am.
Heather, what's your question for Jim Wilson tonight?
I'm a parent, and my daughter, Jim, has completed her master's degree in art therapy in Australia, Sydney, Australia.
Right.
It's a specialized course, and on the outset of sourcing out the educational institution of opportunity, we found that it was not in Ontario, it was not in Canada, it was in Australia, and at the fee of $50,000 for 2 years.
Oh, my goodness.
I tried to source out as many places between Rotary, etc. How could we help my daughter offset just the educational cost? There was absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I'm not aware.
Unlike OSAP.
Yeah.
And parents are literally mortgaging their homes, mortgaging their nest eggs, just to get their children through their master's degree in a specialized course that is not offered in Canada.
Yeah.
Is there something that we can do, match dollar for dollar, to help these kids to get their degrees in specialized courses outside of Ontario?
Yeah. Actually, you're the first to ever mention that to me in terms of we do a lot, doing it in spite of we're the lowest funding per student in all of Canada. Ontario, an average BA in Ontario, for example, undergraduate degree in the arts, the government puts in about $7 for every dollar the student and parents contribute. But we don't do anything, you're right, for overseas. And you not only art therapy, but we have thousands of young people from Canada and Ontario, of course, that go and do medical degrees in England and Australia, and particularly law degrees, because they simply can't get into to our schools because we don't have enough spaces. So it's something I'm happy to. There's nothing available right now because Ontario taxpayers tend to want us to put the money into the Ontario schools and funding.
Well, it's treacherous, and we're trying to, and I understand that there's rumor that we're trying to encourage international students into Canada, which is fabulous to start, generating some revenue in our own country. But with our kids having to go overseas, and the jobs that the education that they're seeking, the jobs are available here. It's just that the education is not available here.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to send me an email on that, and I forward it to the government and try and see if there is something. It's worth looking into. I'm just not aware of anything, and it's something we should consider.
Yeah, we are at our wits' end. I went to your office and spoke with your secretary, and I said, is there not anything to help these kids to help, to offset? And not only that, they go out of the country for 2 or 3 years to get their masters, and then when they do come home, what about their health care when they come home?
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a lot of people on the line, so I don't want to be rude, but I'll get back to you. I'll give you a call, and I'll do some digging for you.
Do you feel it's a valid question worth looking into?
Well, it's worth looking into, but right now we don't have enough student spaces with the recession, with the second career program, with this commitment by Dalton McGuinty to bring in more for students. I just spoke to the Student Association of all the colleges last week, and the week before, or 2 weeks before that, I spoke to all the college presidents of our 24 colleges as the critic for colleges and universities, and they're pleading poverty right now in terms of not only student aid with students here in Ontario going to Ontario colleges and universities, because the debt that people are taking on is very, very high, but there aren't enough spaces. So, if you bring in more international spaces, my policy's been, I better not get any complaints, Dalton McGuinty, from parents or students who get displaced, who can't get into, they're Canadians and can't get into a Canadian college or university because you've suddenly decided you're going to make money off international students. So, Heather, we're going to move on. But
you are having to go international in order to get your degree in your specialized profession.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll get back to you.
So, Jim, you'll follow up on that one. Thank you so much for calling, Heather. For anyone else join with a call or with a question, with a comment this evening, please hit *3 on your handset. *3 will add you to the call so that you can ask a question of Jim, make a comment, relay what's going on in your area, important issues in your community. So *3. But Jim, the other night I was sitting flicking the channels, and I saw this commercial on TV about a man from Fort Erie who seems to be the new leader of your party in your caucus, Tim Hudak. And I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about him.
Oh, Chad, we lost you.
Oh, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Sorry about that. Maybe a technical difficulty. I was saying I was flicking through the channels the other night, Jim, and there's an ad on TV right now about this man from Fort Erie named Tim Hudak, who I think is the new leader of your party in your caucus. Could you tell people a little bit about him?
Yeah, we lost you again for some reason.
Okay. Well, can you hear me now, Jim?
Yeah, I'll just mention so people get to know Tim a little bit better. When he first was elected, again, he's from Fort Erie. His parents are teachers. He really values education. Good at economics, has a master's degree in economics from Washington State University, where he attended on a full scholarship. He's held economic portfolios when he was in government under the Harris government, and he has been our finance critic up until last year when he was elected leader of the Ontario PC Party and leader of Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition here at Queen's Park. He's a family man. He and Debbie have a little girl. And I guess lastly, I'd say he went to the University of Western prior to doing his Master of Economics. And I supported him in the leadership campaign last year because when he first came to Queen's Park, and I was Minister of Health in 95 to 98, during that time he was my parliamentary assistant for health care, and certainly we recognized him as a very bright fellow, a very nice fellow, a very honest fellow, who was a rising star back then. So that's a little bit about him. I guess a shameless advertising plug there. I think we have a number of people on the line, so let's try and get through a few questions in a row as quickly as possible.
Okay. We've got a caller from Alliston who wants to talk about bus service, particularly access for seniors. So we're going to bring a caller on the line from Alliston. Jim, who has this question for you. Caller, are you on the line?
Hello?
Yes. What's your
Hello?
question for Jim Wilson this evening?
My question is, there is really no bus services in the rural areas like Alliston, Tottenham, and Beaton, and in particular for seniors. They're having to, if they want to go out to the store, they have to take a cab. if they're not currently driving, obviously, and a lot of them are not driving.